honored to be on this great campus and be able to partner with the SMU community and its world-class faculty. And we've always enjoyed sharing our programs with SMU students and the broader community.
In addition, principled leadership never goes out of style. President and Mrs. Bush have set the example, and we want to follow it.
My hope is that the Bush Center will always serve as a place where timeless principles are celebrated, protected, and promoted. We've had a great start. Now we must make sure our mission endures for generations to come.
Please welcome the Ann Kimball Johnson Director of the Education Reform Initiative at the George W. Bush Institute, Ann Wicks.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Bush Center. Yes, hi, Duke, I see you. Welcome to Engage at the Bush Center, and this is presented by NexPoint. We're so grateful to NexPoint for endowing this series, and we're very grateful to Allstate for sponsoring today's event. We're so glad to have you all. We love having kids here at the Bush Center. Most of the time we have events for grown-ups, and this is awesome to have an event for kids. I have the privilege of leading our education and opportunity policy work here at the Bush Institute. We believe that every child deserves the opportunity for a quality education that prepares them for work and a career that allows them to support themselves, support their families, and engage meaningfully in their communities. And today we're so excited to present the 4th Engage program under the Laura Bush Book Club banner, and this year featuring one of my favorite children's authors, Rhoda Ahmed. Personally, I'm just so thrilled to have her here. She is a delight. Her work is beautiful. And I've read her books to my son, Duke, and shared them with other kids. He's doing the dab over there to show you how much he likes these books. And in addition to hearing from Rhoda today, you're also going to do some great hands-on activities with kids out in the Hall of State. We're so grateful. We have NBC5 meteorologist Samantha Davies here. She has some sort of cool weather experiment that the kids will get to do. We have some of our friends from the Perot Museum here to do a rocket building project where kids will get to build a rocket and launch it, and there's some other things that will go on. So afterwards, there'll be lots of fun across the hall. This event is a natural extension of Mrs. Bush's longtime and very passionate advocacy for reading and for literacy. A former teacher and librarian, in 1995, Mrs. Bush established the Texas Book Festival to honor Texas authors, to promote the joys of reading, and to benefit our state's public libraries. Today, it remains one of the best top book fairs in the country. So when she arrived in Washington as First Lady in 2001, Mrs. Bush joined with the Library of Congress to launch the National Book Festival, which this September will have its 22nd edition. She launched the Laura Bush Foundation for America's Libraries in 2001, and its mission is to provide funds to our nation's neediest schools so they can update, expand, extend, diversify their library collections. The goal of the foundation is pretty straightforward: to encourage students to develop a love of reading and learning. It's an honor to welcome Mrs. Laura Bush, who will introduce our featured author. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Ann. I'm thrilled today that we have a children's writer today for our Book of the Year club that we've got, the Laura Bush Book Club. This is the first time we've had a writer for children, and it's perfect for me since I was a children's librarian, both in a public library and then in a school library as well. And thanks, Ann, for everything you do for our work here at the Bush Center. And welcome to everybody. I'm thrilled to see all the families that have joined us today at the Bush Center. This Engage program is one of my favorites, our annual Laura Bush Book Club. And I'm especially excited that this year we've selected a children's book featuring the New York Times best-selling author, Roda Ahmed. Rhoda's newest book, Goodnight Wiggly Toes, I think that person needs it, is featured on this year's summer reading list, which you'll all receive a copy of today, the summer reading list, that is. And you can purchase many of the books in the Bush Center store that are on the summer reading list after the program. The 2022 summer reading list includes an old favorite, The Velveteen Rabbit, which I remember reading to my daughters, and it includes a new favorite written by my daughters, The Superpower Sisterhood. It also features the library bus, which touches a subject close to my heart, and that's Afghanistan. You can see the entire list at bushcenter.org/summer reading 2022. I'd like to recognize another summer reading list author that's here today, Gigi McBride. Gigi, you want to stand? Gigi wrote Gigi at the White House, which takes readers on a behind-the-scenes tour of a place that she got to know pretty well, the White House. Gigi's the daughter of my former Chief of Staff, Anita McBride, who's also here today. Thanks to the generosity of Anita and her husband, Tim, every elementary school that's ever been awarded a Laura Bush Foundation grant, nearly 2,000 schools since 2002, will be receiving an exclusive copy of Gigi at the White House. So thank you to Anita, Tim, and Gigi for this special gift. And this brings me to my final announcement, the 2022 Laura Bush Foundation grant recipients. I'm thrilled that this year, the Laura Bush Foundation for America's Libraries has awarded $1.5 million in library grants to 300 schools across the nation, including 18 here in North Texas. This brings our total since 2002 to more than $19.5 million awarded to over 3,300 schools. These grants have helped school librarians restock and update their school collections. Students across the country turn to books to discover the world around them, and we know that opening a new book opens the door to new opportunities and learning. You can find out more about the Laura Bush Foundation, including how to apply for a grant, by visiting bushcenter.org/LBF. And now, it's time to hear from our guest author, Rhoda Ahmed. Rhoda is the founder and CEO of High Tree Publishing, a boutique children's book publishing house with a goal of changing the world one book at a time. A native of Somalia, Rhoda grew up in Norway and now lives in California. She's fluent in 5 languages, and she's written several acclaimed children's books, including Alma's Art and ABC and Me. Today, she'll read her most popular book, Mae Among the Stars, which tells the story of Mae Jemison, whose curiosity and determination as a child led her to become the first Black woman to travel into space. Through Rhoda's writing, she reminds children that if you believe it and work hard for it, anything is possible. And she's right. For all the fans here who've already read Mae Among the Stars, let's say it together. If you believe it, can you say it? And work hard for it, anything is possible. Thank you, Rhoda, for writing these precious stories, and thank you for joining us today. Now please join me in welcoming to the stage Roda Ahmed and Ann Wicks.
Thank you so much, Rhoda. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you, Ann, for your taking.
Hello, everyone. I don't think there's any kids here.
No, I wonder where they went.
Let me try that again. Hello, everyone. Hi. Oh, there you are. Hi.
Well, Rhoda, you have a book for us to read today?
I do. Hi, my name is Rhoda, and I'm so grateful to be here. But before I start, I like to play a game. Do you guys like to play a game? Raise your hand. If you really like to play a game, raise both hands. If you really, really like to play a game, stand up. So this game is called Getting the Wiggles Out of Your Body Before Rhoda Starts to Read. I know, it has a long name.
Those people don't like to play games, I guess.
Oh.
Oh, now they do. Yeah,
I
even
think
the booth is up. Okay.
Yeah, they are. So, wiggle your shoulders. Freeze. Jump up and down. Freeze. Clap your hands once. Clap your hands twice. Clap your hands once. Arms up. Wiggle. Turn around. Freeze. Clap your hands once. Clap your hands twice. Say hi to your neighbor. Hello. Say hi to your other neighbor. Hello. Arms in the middle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Freeze. And as quiet as you can, sit back down. Awesome. So, my name is Rhoda, and today I'm going to share the magical things that can happen when you follow your dreams. So, before I start, I would love to see a raise of hands if you have read Mae Among the Stars. Okay, raise of hands if you really want me to read Mae Among the Stars. Oh, okay, then I'm gonna do it. So I'm gonna read Mae, and then we're gonna have a fun chat.
Yep.
Okay? So the book will come up behind me. Little Mae was a dreamer. They say that daydreamer never succeed, but little Mae was different. One day, Mae was working on an assignment for school about what she wanted to be when she grew up. What will you tell them, Mae? I'll tell them I want to see Earth. This is Earth, Mae, her mother said. The flowers, the grass, the forest, the mountains. We live on Earth. I know, but I want to see Earth from out there. Oh, that's an amazing plan, little Mae. Then you have to become astronaut. Astronaut? You think I can do that? Of course you can. If you can dream it, if you can believe it, and if you work really hard for it, anything is possible. Mae asked her mom to take her to the library. There, she searched for books about space and astronauts. After dinner, Mae drew pictures of space. She even made her own astronaut costume out of old orange curtains and cardboard boxes. Later, she asked her dad, "But how do I become an astronaut? It seems impossible." You'll find your way, Mae, because if you can dream it, if you can believe it, and if you work really hard for it, anything is possible. But space is so far away. It's closer than you think, little Mae, and you may get there sooner than you think, too. That night, Mae had a happy dream. She was dancing in space, surrounded by billions of sparkling stars, and below her, she could see Earth, turning and floating like a shiny crystal ball. The next morning, Mae told her parents about her dream. She wanted to tell everyone, and every time she talked about it, her eyes would light up. In the classroom, Miss Bell told everyone to stand in a line on the rug. Today, we're going to share our dreams about the future and what you want to be when you grow up. Who wants to go first? I want to be a firefighter. I want to be a teacher, football player. I want to be a mom. I want to go to space. I want to be an astronaut. All the kids started laughing. Miss Bell asked, "Mae, are you sure you don't want to be a nurse? Nursing would be good for someone like you." "I don't want to be a nurse. I want to be an astronaut." How do you think she feels now? Sad. Mae felt very sad and disappointed. On her way home from school, Mae was quiet. She looked out the car window, and nothing was the way it used to be. Her world turned blue and cold. At home, Mae started crying. Miss Bell said, "I can't be an astronaut." "What? A silly thing to say," said her mother. "She told me to be a nurse instead." "Oh, my dear Mae, I hope you didn't believe her." Of course I believed her. She's my teacher." I'm sorry Miss Bell didn't encourage you, but she can't stop you. No one can. Follow your dream, Mae, and go to space. How do you think she feels now? Happy, another word for happy. Excited, happy. You're right. Thank you, Mom. I promise. When I get to space, I'll wave to you and Dad from the spaceship. Her mom took her by the hand and they started dancing. You must always, always repeat to yourself, if I can dream it, if I can believe it, and if I work hard for it, anything is possible. And Mae went on dreaming, believing, and working really, really hard, and guess what? She waved to her mom and dad on Earth. The end. We should give Mae an applause. Yay! And that's the real Mae Jemison. So she went to space on September 12th, 1992. So I felt like she deserves a book.
She does.
Right?
Did you all know that Dr. Mae Jemison is a real person? This book was written about a real person. Well, Rhoda, thank you so much for this reading of this book.
No, thank you for having me.
Mae has had an interesting life, but I think you have had an interesting life yourself, and I understand you're going to tell us a little about that.
Yes. So I was born in Somalia, in Africa, and we lived there. I was born there, then me and my family moved to Saudi Arabia. Then we moved from there to a very cold place called Norway, and I grew up there. And then I went to school there, I studied there, and then I got a writing scholarship, and I lived in Paris. Then I was in New York for almost 10 years, and now I live in LA. So, almost all around the globe.
That's pretty good. What is your favorite place that you've lived?
I think they're all special.
Yeah?
Yeah, they're all very special, but I love heat. So I have to say, the warmth of LA and California really is really nice. I wasn't very good skier growing up. And then that's me. In third grade, I was the only, my family was the only family from Somalia that grew up in Norway. So everyone kind of like they're very tall and have blonde and blue eyes. And if you're from Somalia, we would always say maybe like we're related somehow.
Yes.
Yeah. So growing up in Norway, I have siblings. Raise your hand if you think I have one brother. Raise your hand if you think I have two brothers. Raise your hand if you think I have three brothers. Raise your hand if you think I have four brothers. Raise your hand if you think I have a sister. Raise your hand if you think I have two sisters. Wow, you guys, yeah. Raise your hand if you think I have one more brother. Yes, it's true. I have 5 brothers and 2 sisters, so I come from a family of 8.
Wow.
Do you have any siblings, Sam?
I have 2. There's only 3 of us.
Well, that's good. So I have 5 brothers and 2 sisters. So
Where are you are you the oldest or the youngest?
I'm number 7.
You're number 7, so
Yeah.
almost the youngest.
Yeah, or the troublemaker, as my mom likes to call me. Number 7. But so every Saturday, my dad would take me to the library. So it was very special spending alone time with my dad. So he would take me to the library, and then I would borrow a book, read the book, tell him about the book in order to go back the following Saturday. So we did this for years. And then one day, my dad said, Rhoda, if you can be anything you want in the whole world, what would you be? And I was like, oh, well, anything? Yeah. And I said, well, I love books. I wish I could write a book and have a book with my name written on it. And then I kind of forgot about that dream, and I studied anthropology, and I traveled, and then I wrote my first book, and that book is in the same library me and my dad used to go.
So I just have to ask, what language was that book written in?
That book was written in Norwegian.
In Norwegian?
Yeah.
And now you write books in English?
Yes. So English is my fourth language. So, and I have dyslexia. So the letters, does anyone know what dyslexia is? Yeah, does someone here maybe have learning is not that easy? Right? So we all have it. So I always say, if I can be a writer, I know everyone else can be a writer, for sure. So then what I learned was, if you can dream it, if you can believe it, and if you work really hard, anything is possible. Should we say it together again?
Yes.
So with your loudest outdoor voice, let's go. If you can dream it, if you can believe it, if you work hard for it, anything is possible. Whoa! Good job, you guys. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's talk just a little bit about the book and a few other things before we go across the hall to make rockets and learn about weather. So what gave you the idea to write about Mae? I don't think I'd heard of her before I read your book. What gave you the idea?
So I have two kids, so when they were little and we moved to America, they grew up here, I started reading for them and taking them to the library and books, and it became such an important part. And I was just blown away when I read about Mae. And I was an adult, and I had no idea. And then I start searching, and then I live by the Toni Morrison quote, if there is a book you want to write and it hasn't been written, you must be the one to write it. I take that literally. So then I was like, I guess I need to write a book. So it was actually just that I felt, seeing how whoever holds the pen tells history. And when history tends to go the way history does, a lot of people are not in books because those books are not written about them. And I really wanted to change that because I wanted my kids to growing up knowing who Mae is. And all you guys get to know who Mae is, and you don't need to wait until you're an adult like us to find out. So, and I really was in awe of her life and work, and it was a mystery to me because I knew a dog went to space, but I've never heard of Mae Jemison. So,
well, you got to meet her.
Yes, I got to meet her.
What was that like? What's it like to meet a real astronaut?
I was just crying. I was like, but I think we have a video. Do you guys want to see a video? That's not loud enough. Do you guys want to see a video? There you go. Okay, can we show them a little? I have a tiny little video of when I met Mae a few years ago. It's very. There she is. That was amazing.
Oh my gosh.
And it was such a dream come true because I've been trying to get a hold of her for all these years. So my publisher tried, I tried. I think I sent the book to every Mae Jemison address I found in America. So sorry if you're Mae Jemison and you're not Mae Jemison and you received my book. But it was really, I was just in awe. And what I didn't expect was while I was in line, there was this little tug on my coat, and then this little girl with the book, and she said, "Excuse me, are you Miss Rhoda?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "Can you sign my book?" And then I started crying, and then another one came, and another one came. There was like a few hundred kids holding Mae Among the Stars, meeting Mae. So we were all meeting her together. So I felt like a full circle giving her the book and just saying thank you.
Oh, that's great. I love that. I love that. So you've written for grown-ups and you've written for kids. Which do you like better?
That's not a hard question. Who do you like better, kids or adults? Louder, please. A little louder, please. I mean, it speaks for itself. 'Cause
Yes.
I don't think grown-ups say, like when you say, which one do you like better, kids or adults? Let's hear what the adults say. Adults? Even the adults say kids, so.
Yeah, yes. Well, tell us, are you working on a book right now?
Yes, so now I'm actually I just finished a middle grade novel for a little older students, inspired by true events called Missing, which was really different line of work, writing for older kids. So when I would do author visits, usually I do schools, and in the beginning I only visit little classrooms, and then the older kids would be like, well, what about us? We don't want to read just picture books.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're right, I'm going to write a middle grade novel. So I wrote a middle grade novel inspired by a true event that happened, and that one hopefully comes out in a year.
Okay, so we'll watch for that one. So how many of you kids in here have ever written a story or a book in school? Has everybody written? We have a lot of authors here. Rhoda, what kind of advice would you give to authors in the room, our young authors who are here?
Oh, I am so grateful that you're writing, because there's nothing more important than writing, and in a way, writing saved my life, because I didn't know what else to do. And there's no one that can write your story but you. And I think you are so lucky that you get to be a kid in this time. And I know we have to compete with YouTube and Netflix, but I am so grateful that you guys are writing your stories, and I can't wait for you to read them. And you only need 3 things, because writing is kind of like magic, right?
Okay, yeah.
Because it doesn't exist. It's only in your head, right? There's nothing going on the page. It's empty, just in your head, right? Raise your hand if you ever had an empty page in front of you. And there's nothing on there. Raise your hand if you have a pencil, right? So now we have an empty page and we have a pencil, and then there's something in here that, does everyone have a head? Point to your head. So there's something in here that is talking to you sometimes, right? And it's a thought, and it doesn't exist, but when you write it down, it appears. So that's kind of like magic.
It is. So the best way to be an author is just to start writing.
Yeah, I think everyone is already a writer, they just don't know it.
They just don't know it. I love it. Well, one of the things you've done, in addition to writing your own books, you started a publishing house, or a publishing company. Mm-hmm. It's called High Tree Publishing. Mm-hmm. So all these young authors can submit you their manuscripts when they're ready. But yeah. Why don't you tell them what does that kind of company do, and what do you work on?
That's a great question. So I wanted to do more than just writing, because I felt like there's so many stories to be told, and so many writers, and so many illustrators. And I wanted people who have a dream of writing and show them how I made Mae. Because the way I made Mae is not the same way traditional publishing is made Mae. And then show them what I've learned, and then help other authors write their books and their stories, and connect them with other illustrators all over the world. Because I'm going to let you in on a secret. It's never been a better time to be a writer or an artist or a girl or a boy or a kid in the entire universe. This is the best time ever you're living in. And then I thought, I should start a publishing house and then help people that want to do what I done, and show them the way. So, and write more diverse books, because there's so many books and stories that need to be told, but it's so hard to get published because of the way it's structured and the industry and the route. So at High Tree, we make books we have a finished manuscript to an actual book. It takes us 3 to 4 months.
Yeah, wow.
Usually that takes 3 to 4 years.
Yes.
So we kind of narrowed it down, and then we just had our first New York Times bestseller.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What's the name of that book?
That one, it's called Always With You, Always With Me, which is Kelly Rowland and Jessica McKay and I made it, and we sold it to Penguin, Penguin Viking, to publish it, and just leading the way of there's a new way of doing things and inventing new ways, and it's been so much fun.
I love it. Okay, so what does the name High Tree mean? Did that come from something?
High Tree is I love it because kids are kind of like seeds, and they grow into these mighty trunks, and books are made of trees. And right outside my office, there's this huge tree, and kids climb tree, and so I just loved it. And the stem is like a child.
Yes. Oh, I love that. Trees becoming kids, becoming books. I love it. Okay, so why don't you tell everybody, what kind of books do you like to read? Do you like funny books or mysteries or long stories or short? What kind of books do you like to read?
I love all sorts of books. I like short books. I like picture books. I like graphic novels. I just finished reading Mrs. Bush's beautiful biography and children's books. I love all sorts of books, but my favorite thing besides reading is listening to audiobooks.
Oh, have any of you listened to a book? Someone read a book to you? Have you listened to it?
Have anyone, a parent that reads to them? Do your parents read to you? Okay, let's
Duke, you better raise your hand.
Duke?
Don't show me up like that, kid.
Duke is raising his hand.
Yeah.
You read to him. Okay, raise your hand if you read your own books. Oh, look around. That's amazing. And so I think just reading anything kind of is big, right? And I feel now we're competing with, it's not competing, but watching television more.
Yep.
And our phones more. So I feel now more than ever, kids that read and everyone who reads are like rock stars, like real rock stars. Because reading a book is really something you will never forget. And the privilege of being a small part of your childhood with my book is just such a privilege, so.
Reading books, right, it unlocks the world for you when
Yeah.
you can do that. Okay, 2 last questions before we start to go do some science across the way. It's almost summer break. I know, how many kids are you almost done with school? Pretty much, is everybody getting close? Everybody excited for summer? Yes, I see these girls, yes, are there. Okay, so what, do you have summer plans for your summer? What will you be doing?
Oh, nice, summer plans. I love every day, but summer especially, because then I get to spend so much time with my nieces and nephews and godchildren and my children. And I read somewhere years ago that you only get 18 summers with your child before they want to have their own summers. And now my daughter is turning 17. So I'm
This
like,
is a big one.
And she's like, Mom, I'll come home for summers. Gee, like, but I just feel I treasure spending summer. So we go to Norway, and we have all my families there, and we spend the summer there, and they bike everywhere, and yeah, it's very relaxed and fun. What do you do? What's your summer plans?
Well, I wish we were going to Norway because that sounds pretty good now to hear you talk about it. But we're going to go to California, where you live, and to Minnesota, where we have family that lives as well. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, so one of the things I love to ask when we get really great, interesting people here at the Bush Center, you were just talking about that this is the best time, you think, to be a kid, to be a girl, to be a boy, living in the world, even though there's lots of things that are happening sometimes that can feel overwhelming. And I would love for you to tell us what gives you hope? What gives you hope right now?
I mean, we just did a survey about kids and adults, and I just love that you are so enthusiastic and you have the whole world in your pocket. We didn't have that. I remember when internet came.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
I literally remember when internet was a thing that you print out and it came, and we had our first email, and I sound so old and
Yes.
long ago.
We had to go to the computer lab.
Yes,
and check our email.
Yeah, and then it made that sound, and so I know, but I really do think that everyone in this room, we don't know what you're gonna invent. We don't know what cure you're gonna have, how you're gonna save the world and save us. And you have way more access to everything. Like, you can ask a question and then you can look it up. we had to ask a question, then we had to find a grown-up that knew the answer, which sometimes was really hard, or you have to look in a book, and then by the time you found the answer, you kind of given up, right?
Yeah,
So I really do feel hopeful meeting hundreds and thousands of kids that we're in really good shape. The future is so bright because of you guys, and we're just lucky to be here witnessing it. So just know that writing and reading, and only listen to your inner voice and be kind, because there's no one like you. And I am just so grateful and in awe that you get to be the little ones in this generation. I wish we could get a do-over and be like, oh, I want to be little again so I can have internet. Right. But I really do think there's never been a better time to be alive than now. So remember that. And give yourself a round of applause. And if you're little, give yourself a round of like, yeah, on top of it. Ready? 1, 2, 3, yeah!
Well, thank you, Rhoda. Thank you so much
for having me.
It's so fun to have you here and to see the book. I hope that you all, your summer plans include some trips to the library. I used to do that like you growing up with my mom. We'd get our big pile of books, so I hope you all get to do that. Before we send you off, you'll get to meet Rhoda and build your rockets and learn about weather from Samantha Davies.
Can I build rockets?
You may. You are allowed. Everyone, even if you're a grown-up, you can build a rocket today. I wanted to thank NexPoint again for endowing our series and Allstate for sponsoring today. I also wanted to let you know, especially because it's Game 7 day for 2 of our Dallas sports teams here. This is kind of a sports town. On this, yes, go Mavs, go Stars. On June 6th, we've got another big sports event happening. Dallas Cowboy Troy Aikman will be here. He'll be talking about fatherhood, community. We'll probably get him to talk a little bit about football. Joe Trahan of WFAA TV will lead a discussion with Troy. Tickets are going fast, so if you're interested in that, go check bushcenter.org and make sure you can join us for that. And now, to continue with our activities, what you're going to do is exit the auditorium in the back. We'll have some staff that will show you how to get to Hall of State, which is where everything is. And when you leave, make sure you go through the museum store where you can buy special signed copies of Mae Among the Stars. I think we have other books. Gigi at the White House, I think, is over there. I know we've got a lot from our summer reading list. But thank you again for being here today, and Rhoda and I will see you across the way.
Wait, before they go, can I do a picture?
Yes, oh yeah. Rhoda wants to do a picture.
Can I do a picture? Yes. I don't think they're that excited. Can I do a picture? Yes, thank you.
You want me to take it?
So, I'm just going to do a picture where we say Mae Among the Stars. Well, that's not going to show in the picture, is it?
I know.
Well, I don't know what I was thinking.
Here, I'll take it. We'll get you all in there.
We'll all go. Everyone stand up.
Nice.
And cheer. Say yay. Okay, I'm going to do a little video. So do that again with like, yeah. Ready? Okay, let's go.
Yay!
Thank you, guys.
We'll see you across the hall.